Greetings, good morning, and welcome to Mind the Moment, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Health Care. This, my friends, is our coffee house in the cloud, a place where we invite amazing mindfulness instructors to talk with us about what mindfulness means to them, and what it can mean for you. We'll be practicing together and then giving you a chance to let us know what's on your mind. I'm John Roberts. It is Friday, October 16th, 2020, which is, believe it or not, Global Cat Day. The late writer Leonard Michaels commended cats as creatures who move at the speed of life. Michaels wrote, quote, "A cat is content to be a cat. Nothing is more at home in the world than a cat. Flowers, compared to a cat, seem too assertive, even vulgar. Their peculiar colors, their showy shapes. Sprawled in sunlight, a cat dissolves, pours free of its shape, and becomes one with the ground. Sliding along your leg, it gives you a sense of fusion. A cat makes itself one with anything. It is at home in the world," end quote. Joining me today, as she does most Fridays, is someone who herself approaches the trappings of the world with a gentle, cat-like tread, the founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's Mindfulness program, Tara Healey. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, John, and good morning, everyone. Good to be with you this morning.
So, Tara, I know that in the unending cosmic contest between cats and dogs, you are solidly fixed on Team Dog.
I am solidly fixed on Team Dog.
What have dogs taught you about mindfulness, if anything?
Well, I mean, I think animals in general, John, not just dogs, but they're really good at being who they are. I mean, you're right. Like a dog is just purely a dog, enjoying lots of smells. And I mean, I've only had golden retrievers, which are typically very friendly, happy dogs. So yeah, I mean, I think that they're just very good at themselves.
All right. So in just a moment, Tara will be leading us in a 10-minute guided meditation. Next up, we'll shift to Q&A, and that's where we'd love to have your help. So take a moment, if you would, open up the chat box there at the bottom of your screen. Using that chat box, ask us any questions you may have or make any comments that you'd like to share.
And if you're a dog or a cat person, fine to put that in there.
Well, I'm wondering, Tara, should we form some sort of question for folks to respond to? I feel like that's almost too dichotomous, but maybe maybe we could ask folks to chat in about what they appreciate about the animals in their lives, be they cats, be they dogs,
yes,
be they birds, or anything else.
Yes.
So, all right, so folks, yes, please, if you would let us know what do you get from the animals in your life. And while you're typing, please do know how grateful we are that you've taken the time to be with us and with each other in our virtual coffee house this morning. Keep in mind that only Tara and I will be able to see anything that you type, and if we don't have a chance to read your particular question or comment out loud, please know that we do read and value them all. As we close, which will be right around 9 a.m., I'll make note of some more ways you can stay in touch with us. I think we've struck gold. Here, let me just see what
I
we got.
know.
Someone says
and it could be, animals in the wild too, so either an animal that that is a family member or an animal. Yeah, animals in general.
I hesitate to bring this up, but what we're celebrating as Global Cat Day used to be Global Feral Cat Day, and so this is but we got changed to be more inclusive. So somebody says golden retrievers are the best, Tara. Let's see. Somebody says they love the unconditional love they receive. This person's animal always wakes up happy. Pets bring joy and unconditional love. My dog sings for me when I come home, so it makes me smile. This person says they are always happy to see me. Have 2 cats and 2 dogs on both teams. See, that's great.
Nice, nice.
That's that kind of shaking hands across the aisle that we need more of. Someone says animals are present in the moment. They never wish they were doing something else.
So
true. They were with someone else.
No, I mean, that is so true. That's what I was trying to say this morning, but I think that's articulated better.
Well, it's funny because Tara, I think I might, I want to qualify that a little bit because I feel like with dogs, you never see a dog looking around being like, this is not what I want. But I feel like you do sometimes see cats looking around and being
Oh,
like,
I completely,
this could be
completely
better.
agree. I think, yes, yeah, and I think yes, absolutely. They are maybe a little more discriminating.
That's right. All right, so I think that's a great place to stop for now. Tara, maybe I will turn it back to you to
Yeah,
take us into the guided meditation portion of
sure, yes.
the episode.
Okay. All right, everyone. As I say each week, it's fine to do standing meditation practice or sitting. So whatever, feels best for your body this morning, standing or sitting. And I'll remain seated. So allow your body to, just make micro movements necessary for holding yourself in a way that's upright and engaged, alert, um, with a spine that's straight but not stiff. So seeing if you can have a posture that you're holding in a way that's not too tight and not too loose. Allow the eyes to close if that feels comfortable, and it is always fine to keep the eyes open. And if you choose that route, just lower the gaze a bit to help remove peripheral distraction. And I'd like to begin by having us do a couple of deep breaths on our own as a way to settle any surface tension that we may have from the activity of our morning so far. And I'm going to have you do it on your own, but you'll take a deep inhalation through the nose with a little bit of a longer exhalation through the mouth. So when you feel ready, go ahead and take a couple deep breaths. And as you feel ready, allowing the normal sort of natural rhythm of the breath return. And the body is good at knowing how to regulate itself. So just enabling that rhythm of your own natural breath to resume. Just for a moment, let's become aware of sound in our environment. So either in the room that you're in or perhaps outside of the room. Bringing your awareness to sound. And allowing sound to remain as it will in the background. And beginning to narrow the focus of awareness on the whole body. So noticing points of contact with the body and the surface. It could be the soles of the feet or all along the back of the body. Noticing physical sensations from your activity. That could be pulsing, tingling, temperature. And remaining receptive, curious, interested. What's happening in the body? Just dropping that question in and then receptive to the answer. So coming out of the intellect, coming into the physicality. So how is the body? What's being offered this morning? Beginning to narrow the focus of attention from whole body to a more narrow focus on breath sensation. And notice where in the body breath sensation is most pronounced or strongest for you. And for the remainder of the practice, as the mind wanders, which it will, not a problem. You'll come back to that particular place in the body where you feel the breath sensation most prominently. Belly, chest, abdomen, nostrils. Just it could be an overall sense of the whole body breathing in, whole body breathing out. And noticing where the mind is and reconnecting with the breath sensation. Noticing where the mind is, softening the body, and reconnecting with breath, body sensation. And noticing where the mind is, gently releasing thought, soften the body, and reconnect with breath sensation. And in just a moment, I will count back from 3 to 1. When I arrive at 1, you can gently open the eyes if they were closed and otherwise reconnecting with each other. 3, 2, 1. And opening the eyes if they were closed, and maybe taking a bit of a stretch, which you can always do before as well. That helps.
All right. Thank you, Tara. So I guess somebody wrote in the chat box something that I didn't read earlier, which is the person says, through my dog, I get to see a canine view on the monkey mind. I'm actually wondering, Tara, if you could just say a few words about this phrase monkey mind, which will be known to some people, but not everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it's really like a metaphor for how much the mind jumps from branch to branch to branch, and that we are not really trying to make that happen. I mean, I think that meditation brings it into stark relief in a way, because it's always going on. But we don't see it so clearly unless we stop and do what we do, stop in meditation. And then it becomes very apparent that, thoughts are slipping in. The mind secretes thought. I mean, it's a statement that one of my teachers, and I can't remember who, but I thought, wow, that is so true, because I don't feel like I am trying to make it happen.
Yeah, and I feel at this time of year, I almost think of it, it makes more sense to me to think of it as squirrel mind, as I look out of the backyard and I'm watching these squirrels as they're feeling, the winter begin to get them in its grip, and you can just sort of see this and that's how I feel like my mind is going just now, just gotta get over here, get over here, get over here.
Yes. And I think the key thing too with that, with the really, really busy mind, whether it's monkey mind or squirrel mind, is that it's actually, we don't have to make any kind of a problem out of it. There will be some times when we practice where it doesn't feel quite as busy or active or intense. And there will be other times where it feels very, very, very intense. It doesn't have to be bothersome at all. And in part, the practice helps us to kind of relate in that particular way, where it's like, oh, you can make soft mental notes like, oh, busy mind, and that's it, not a problem.
So folks, I want to make sure everyone feels very welcome, very encouraged to ask Tara any questions you may have using the chat box. But before we go further, an announcement. After no small amount of soul searching, and in consultation with you, our viewers, we've made the decision to change the dates of our coffeehouse sessions from Tuesdays and Fridays to Tuesdays and Thursdays starting next week. So please note, the link you've been using to access these Friday sessions will stay exactly the same, but this will be the last Friday that we do for the foreseeable future. Suffice it to say, we have been incredibly grateful to share with you the slow glide into the weekend these past 6 months or so, and look forward to laying down stakes in the middle of your weeks. So just to reiterate, the schedule of the next sessions will go like this: Tuesday, October 20th, Thursday, October 22nd, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays all the way down. All right. So Tara.
Yes.
I was recently part of a conversation in which I got to hear you describing to colleagues of ours what the potential importance of mindfulness practice might be for older adults. And you said several things in that conversation which really stuck out to me and which I would love to follow up on here.
Yeah.
One of the things you said is that mindfulness practice may help older adults accept the challenges of aging. So I'm wondering if you could say a bit about what you mean by that, and how mindfulness might play a part.
Yeah, for sure. I think a big part of this practice is seeing clearly how things actually are, like really seeing clearly how they are, not how we wish they were or think that they should be. And, as I watch my aging parents, and as I have also had the opportunity to give talks in the facility where my mother was on this particular practice. But being around, and especially where my mom was in the facility that she was in, is seeing so much kind of mental and physical decline, and the resistance to that decline. And I think that learning to sort of relate to these things as natural processes, you know, because the thing is that as we age, we naturally will have things go wrong. It's just the nature of the aging body to have things go wrong. So in a way, there's nothing wrong. You know, this is part of the truth of being a human being, is that we will have ill health. We will at different times have problems. And I think as our bodies age, the more we can learn to relate with more skill and less resistance, then those ailments can be as they are without it being so problematic. And that's a lot easier said than done. However, with regular practice, and especially when practicing when we are well, is such an important time to practice. Or practicing when you have a cold, or, you know, those are really good times to practice too. Like, how can I be with this with less resistance, because this is the nature of the body.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the way in which the media can sometimes overblow some of the mindfulness research that's happening. And so some of the headlines I remember seeing is like, you know, mindfulness can reverse the aging process, which is a little bit
Yeah.
misleading as to
Yes.
the effects of mindfulness. But even myself knowing a lot about mindfulness, I feel when I read that sort of thing, I think to myself, it can reverse the aging process. But what I'm hearing you say is that is not what we shouldn't be striving to reverse the process of aging, but rather accept the process of aging. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's really learning to relate to the truth of what's happening. And ultimately that will bring a little bit more ease, you know? So, I mean, I've seen in older folks just a lot of resistance and pain and suffering, and that there might be a way to be in pain or to have some kind of emotional suffering, but actually have some sense of balance with it. And, you know, and John, yeah, the research often points to like all these lofty outcomes. And I think like to trust that there is something to this, to practice on a regular basis, and then start to see, how does that work for you? You know, how does that, just see for yourself. So it's empirical.
So you were mentioning how you have noticed some of that older adults might be resistant to the aging process. I'm also wondering, have you found in your experience teaching older adults about mindfulness, are they resistant to mindfulness practice itself, or are you finding them to be open, or a mix of both?
I would say really open, John. So I've done 2 or 3 sessions where my mom was, and the rooms were packed, and they were the most engaged audiences probably I have ever had. Like very, very attentive, maybe polite, but extremely attentive with very, very good questions, and lots of curiosity and interest about how to take it further. And so I think people in the last stages of their life, sometimes it's said that these practices come more easily. I don't know that that's true or not, but you know, it's really something that can help us throughout our whole lives. And I think if we practice before we are in a facility, if we ever are, that, you know, we can just integrate that skill right in as we age.
Well, so when you are teaching groups of older adults, do you find that you use or that you teach mindfulness in a different way in order to make sure that the points you want to get across land most effectively, or do you find there's no real difference in how you would talk about mindfulness?
I would just say the examples are probably more relevant to their lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. But basically, trying to be as clear as I can about what this is. A lot of the older folks had ideas around meditation being like some Zen-like state without thought. So, helping them understand that that's just not what it is. We're not trying to stop thought. So I would say, John, just using examples that are more relevant to their lives.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, actually, because, as you know, Tara, my mother is suffering from cognitive decline. And when I try to imagine her mental state, of course, it's impossible for me to do so, but when I try to imagine it, it's a state of being without thought, and how that feels to me to be very frightening, and so I can almost imagine if you were an older person who has this preconceived notion that mindfulness is about losing thought, that might actually be quite distressing.
It could be.
And indeed, maybe it would actually be, in a way, good to come to realize, oh no, there's plenty of thoughts still going on in there. So one of the people watching asked this question. Okay,
yeah.
So this is more related to the practice we were doing a moment ago.
Okay.
Okay, the person says, at times when I feel nervous or worried, I often sense that emotion between my belly button and solar plexus. And so they're actually just wondering, is that normal? Is that a normal type of reaction to have that, for it to be situated in the body or in a particular place in the body?
So, everybody has different areas of the body where some kind of nervousness or anxiety shows up. And it can vary even at different times that you're practicing. The idea would be that you would want to bring the attention just to that particular area. And it doesn't really matter what physiologically is happening, because then we can get into the intellect about wondering, so it's like come out of the intellect and just come into the physical expression. And so that could be tingly or heat, whatever that might be. Always go to the physical expression, like what's actually happening, and allow yourself to receive it, so it's that receptive awareness. And then you can go back to your breath. So you can kind of, when you feel that nervousness, go to wherever it is in the body, in this case, kind of solar plexus area. And then when you feel you can go back to the breath, go back to the breath. And then if you want to dip back into that solar plexus, receive, and then back to the breath.
So when you're identifying that physical expression, what you're saying is don't name it, but don't explain it. Is that
yeah. Or what's the physiology here? What part of the body is doing this? Or because then that takes us out of the experience, and it doesn't even matter. So yeah.
Right. I guess I'm imagining if you're identifying this physical the physical expression, looking at it more like a scientist, as you might say, rather than as a poet saying, okay.
Yeah.
Or like when I remember when we used to look at rocks in science class in grade school, we'd have to be, okay, so there's the luster, there is the texture and things. And I feel like that is a way that you can talk about.
Absolutely.
As opposed to in literature class, when it was more about like, what is...
Yeah, definitely.
Well, oh gosh, I guess, okay. I think that is Tara.
Oh, it's 9. Yes.
It's time. So, well, this is the first time I'll be saying this. Mind the Moment will be back every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you have any questions for Tara or any of our experts, which we did not get to here, or if you have any burning or even simmering questions that pop up into your mind later on in the week, please email them to askmtm@harvardpilgrim.org, or you can leave me a voicemail at 617-509-7047. Now, if you're looking for a super convenient way to add these sessions to your iCal or Outlook calendar, look no further than harvardpilgrim.org/livingwellatHome. And while you're there, check out the bunches and bunches of other free wellness resources offered by Harvard Pilgrim. These include yoga classes, Zumba classes, and wellness webinars for adults and kids alike. Now, pain is something we all deal with, but how we deal with it can make a huge difference in the quality of our lives. So we'd love for you to look at these free resources around mindfulness and pain management, which we've put together in partnership with our friends at Mindful Magazine. And those are available at mindful.org/pain. Our bustling Facebook page is at facebook.com/mindthemoment. And you can always watch these sessions, also the interviews that Tara conducted with leading mindfulness researchers, all of that, youtube.com/mindthemoment. A final word on cats from the capricious ink slinger Garrison Keillor, who said, quote, "Cats are intended to teach us that not everything in nature has a purpose," end quote. I would counter by saying, Mr. Keillor, if anything, cats teach us to be purposefully purposeless, which is probably a quality we can stand to have a little more of in the world. Tara, thank you, as always, for your guidance, which has been catnip to my besieged mind. Are there any final thoughts you'd like to share as we close?
No, just wishing everybody a great weekend, beautiful. I think tomorrow's going to be a little rainy, but it's going to be nice otherwise, so enjoy. And thank you, as always, for joining us on this last Friday, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Thank you so much for that, Tara. So yes, folks, we will see you soon, Tuesday and then Thursday. Have a great weekend, and may you have a momentous day today.